A new type of relief check is here. The lawmakers are aiming to address the gas prices in several states and cities, everybody. And now, make sure to watch the end of this video to learn how you can get this stimulus. According to the latest report by AAA, the average price for a gallon of gas fell to $3 again. And this is from the high of $3.42. It came as oil prices fell from $5 from last week to $70 per barrel. And Gas Buddies reported that the most common U.S. gas price was $3.20 per gallon, a drop of 10 cents from last week. A number of factors have coincided to bring gas prices steadily lower since then. Now, a year after the crisis of the overseas, crude oil prices on global markets and the retail price of regular gas across the U.S. are now below the pre-crisis levels. Lawmakers still do support a new type of relief payment. This would be a gas rebate check. And 3 representatives have supported the Gas Rebate Act. The proposal comes from Representative Mike Thompson, John Larson, and Lauren Underwood. The legislation includes that Americans will get an energy rebate of $100 a month in any month where the national average gas price exceeds $4 per gallon. And even Representative Peter DeFazio proposed the Stop Gas Price Gouging Tax and Rebate Act. The bill would create a windfall profit tax on excessive corporate profits and return the revenue to American consumers in the form of a tax rebate. And under this proposal, companies will pay a one-time 50% windfall profit tax on any adjustable taxable income that exceeds 100% of the federal poverty line. So inflation remains high, but Americans are on a spending spree, eating out at restaurants and shopping for cars. But it still doesn't mean that people should not be getting their stimulus. Because just when it seemed that consumers were running out of gas, shoppers appear to be getting a second win. Yes, it rose 0.8% as consumers splurge on goods.
Multiple reports last month indicated 50 Democratic members of the House and up to 21 Democrats in the Senate signed letters urging President Joe Biden to send recurring payments to Americans as long as the pandemic continues. So is a fourth stimulus check from Congress really confirmed?
Millions of dollars in new stimulus checks are set to be deposited this year. Many of the low income will qualify for additional financial relief. All thanks to a new bill, but on top of this, and lawmakers have proposed that making the next round of stimulus checks, everybody, has to be more targeted. It means that people will be getting a couple more stimulus payments in the couple next days. So let's see if President Biden knows what he can do and send out a fourth stimulus check, because everyone knows that it is very much necessary to do this. If he doesn't do this fast, well then, things will not be looking good for the American people, because we all know stimulus payments are necessary. First of all, on January 3rd, the new Congress was already created. Both newly elected Congress members and incumbents took their oaths of office, with Republicans taking control of the House and Representatives, while Democrats retain control of the Senate, with the new Congress now in place. But the big question was, on many people's mind, is whether stimulus checks are on the table in this upcoming legislative session. Stimulus checks have received bipartisan support, but Democrats and Republicans voted together to provide the initial direct payments during the heart of the crisis. The most recent crisis relief legislation provided payments of up to $3,600 per child under age 6 to the eligible parents, and also $3,000 per child ages 6 to 17. So Republicans were on board with this specifically, although the child tax credit was a key Democratic priority. The Republicans have indicated, everybody, that they believe the current child tax credit should be modified, and that parents should receive more aid in some shape or form. But since this may be one of the few areas where there is an overlap of goals on the left and on the right, there remains a chance that parents and at least some people with extra help from the federal government could get that money sooner than we expected. And I'm pretty much shocked that can happen. Because, listen to this, some Republicans are indicating that they believe that there's some type of way to help out the people with stimulus checks. And I think that's definitely one possibility for people to get stimulus checks, but it's going to be done like this. For instance, people believe that the legislation passed in the Democratic-led House of Representatives in the last Congress would extend this child tax credit for another year. Just one more year with another spending program under $1 trillion. But critics like Joe Manchin objected to short-term programs in a 10-year bill, such as the enhanced child tax credit that could become permanent and more costly. Manchin also reportedly has proposed adding work requirements for the children's tax credit. The child tax credit was originally aimed at working parents paying over $2,000 in taxes yearly, but was greatly expanded during this crisis. And before the 2021 expansion, people working on the lowest income jobs were just not eligible for this money. This expansion made the credit available to parents with working lower income jobs or not even working. For instance, Mike Lee and Marco Rubio said they support more money going to families of parents who are working, but for those who are not, well, they're not going to get the money because you don't deserve it, they said. Well, I'm not sure about what that says. I'm not sure what that means because President Biden definitely said that he would send out more stimulus payments. Am I right or am I wrong? First of all, New Jersey State Assembly has approved a revised version of the state child tax credit, fixing an error in the legislation that will have delayed payments for 2 years. The bill passed the program and the governor signed into law, providing a refundable credit of up to $500 a year for people under the age of 6. And this program was a response by Democrats to soaring cost of living, but a drafting error in a final bill meant that the credit could not even be claimed until the 2023 tax year, and families will not even get the benefit until 2024. Fortunately, the problem has not even been solved. And Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, for instance, is talking about this. It's another state that has taken matters into its own hands, and Congress failing to extend the child tax credits. Well, the governor of Vermont is signing off on a $1,000 child tax credit for every child 5 and under. Just the households earning $125,000 or less. Families who claim the credit would actually lose $20,000 for every $1,000 over the $125,000 that they earn.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to talk about the Republican decision to cut the funding from the Internal Revenue Service. This funding was part of President Biden's critical Inflation Reduction Act. The $80 billion for the IRS enforcement would have forced tax-cheating corporations, and wealthy Americans to finally pay their fair share. Instead, Republicans chose to rescind $72 billion of that money and force a 2% cut to the agency funding in the last spending package. The IRS support would have collected billions in taxes, boosted our economy, and lowered the nation's debt ceiling. Issues that the Republicans claim are important. Instead, this vote shows Republicans.
Folks, what are your thoughts on President Biden and the fourth stimulus check? Is President Biden going to do all that it takes to help out the American people with this, or do you believe that he's holding it back? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Personally, everybody, I believe that President Biden can definitely do more for the American people and send out stimulus checks sooner than later. It needs to be done. More relief cash is coming. The deadline is quickly approaching for millions of Americans to take action and claim a new direct payment. In this video, I will be sharing with you the exact dates and details of this new round of stimulus checks. Now, some homeowners could also get financial help this month, and this could come from the Homeowner Assistance Fund. The American Rescue Plan set aside almost $10 billion for homeowner relief, and more than 40 states have now set up homeowner assistance programs to facilitate the distribution of funds. The funds will be distributed to the states by the Treasury Department, and money from this program could be used to help with mortgage payments, homeowner insurance costs, and other specified purposes. Between these state programs and homeowner assistance funds, millions could soon be entitled to money from the government to help them cope with the ongoing financial consequences of the crisis. Denver is anticipating its second half of stimulus funding to come in July, and according to city officials, Denver will receive $300 million